friends, welcome to Rouse Rising. My name is Katie, and in today's video I am sharing with you 30 soup recipes. You don't want to miss this. Today on my channel I am sharing with you 30 delicious soup recipes for Souptember. This is a collaboration with Mennonite Farmhouse, and we've got 30 other channels joining in, sharing with us their family's favorite soup recipe or recipes. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my chicken Pazole Verde recipe. It is so good that I made extra so that I could can some up to put on the shelf for my family for one of those days in the wintertime or in the fall when I don't feel like cooking and I need a delicious meal fast. That is why I double my recipes and set a meal aside for another day. It makes my life so much easier. So watch this video till the end so you can can up your own shelf-stable soup. It is a delicious soup that is going to use up some of the vegetables that you might have in your garden. Right now, these vegetables are available at your farmer's market, locally. Maybe a neighbor has them in their abundant garden. So keep your eyes peeled, because the Verde sauce that goes into this chicken soup recipe is one that you can make a bunch of and preserve it in cans for the long winter. So this is definitely a recipe that you can find the ingredients now, fresh, make up your Verde sauce, and then you'll have a delicious green sauce that you can use for enchiladas, that you can use for this chicken Pazole soup, that you can use as a dip. It is so delicious. That is something that I'm going to be sharing with my members only. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check down below in this video's description to join as a Rouse Rising member, where you will get access to all of my single recipe videos. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's dive into this video.
For this recipe, you need 7 cups of chicken stock, 2 cups of water, 4 cups chicken breast halves with the bone and skin still on, 1 pound of tomatillos husked and halved, 1 small onion quartered, 2 poblano chilies seeded and quartered, 4 large garlic cloves smashed, a half a cup of chopped cilantro, 1 tablespoon oregano leaves, salt, pepper, vegetable oil, or I'm using olive oil, and 45 ounces of hominy, which is 3 15-ounce cans. This is a from scratch cooking channel, so I am making my chicken broth while I cook my chicken, and instead of the 4 chicken breast halves, I'm using a whole chicken, and I'm gonna boil this in a pot of water with a handful of chopped celery. The celery is freeze-dried, the onions were freeze-dried, so I threw both of those in there just to give the chicken stock some flavor. I'm also going to go ahead and add my oregano, some poultry seasoning, and some black peppercorns. I'm going to bring this to a boil, and I'm going to allow this chicken to cook for about 45 minutes to an hour. This probably simmered for closer to an hour because I wanted it to fall apart easily. I wanted the meat to come off the bones easily. So once your chicken starts to fall apart, that is when you're going to be removing it from the water. You're going to take all the meat off the bone and shred it up for your soup. Next, we are going to prepare all of our produce. You see I've got my green glove on because I still have a wound on my thumb that I've been tending to. So we are going to husk all of these tomatillos and get them washed up. We're also going to be washing the poblano peppers. You see back there we have some tomatoes and some extra onion and some avocados. Some of that is going to be for garnishing. So I enlisted the kids and got them scrubbing some of the produce up. We are soaking it in a bit of vinegar water and then giving it a good scrub with our vegetable brush just to remove any residue. And then we are going to get all of these chopped up and added to our Vitamix blender. Use whatever food processor or blender that you have, but we are going to get this blended up into a sauce. A note on peppers: if you want spice, leave the seeds in pit. You can remove part or all of them. I am removing all of it because this is for my kiddos and not all of my kids like spice. So for family friendly, we are removing it. And the sauce is going to have a little bit of a kick to it, but once you add it to your soup, it is toned down significantly, so you don't have to worry about it being overly spicy. It will be diluted. I'm going to be using half of this white onion. You can use any onions you like. The white onion is very mild. It has a very good sweet flavor to it, whereas a yellow onion is going to be a lot stronger. But you can use yellow onion. I made this soup the following week and used yellow onion. I'm also smashing and peeling the garlic and adding that in as well. Once we start processing this, we are going to tamp it down to make sure that everything gets blended up nicely and evenly. And then we are going to be adding a little bit of the chicken stock from the pot that is cooking our whole chicken into this mixture. And one thing I did not add yet is the cilantro. Let me know down in the comments, would you add cilantro at this point or do you wait? I forgot the cilantro, so I'm not sure what the exact protocol is here. I forgot it, and then I went back and added it later, which you are going to see. You can also roast your veggies first and then blend them up, which is what I did recently, and that's what the clip was that you saw right there. I roasted up all of those and then made the verde sauce. But what we did here was we blended it all raw today, and then we're putting it in our pan and heating it up like that. So you can do it either way. It's just going to end up a darker greenish brown, murkier color. So that's what we're going for. Yes, it's a beautiful, bright, raw green sauce, but we want to cook this sauce, and you can do roasted. That adds a delicious flavor, or you can do it on the stove top just like this. However you do it, we know that you made it with love, and that is what matters most. There I am adding the cilantro, a little bit more of the sauce and some of the chicken stock to that. We're going to blend that up and then get that cilantro incorporated back into the sauce. I've heard before some people have an aversion to cilantro. They say it tastes like soap. I don't have that problem, and so far nobody in my family does, so that is something that we've been able to incorporate into our foods. Let me know down in the comments. I'm curious, do you know anybody, or do you yourself experience cilantro soap? So we're bringing this up to a simmer, and while everything continues to cook, we're gonna just throw together a quick garnish of salsa. This is going to be something that the kids can add to their soup if they want to. It's really simple. All you do is throw some tomatoes, some onion, a handful of cilantro, about a half a teaspoon of some salt, olive oil, lime juice if you have fresh lime juice or bottled lime juice. You can also add a clove of garlic if you like. You can add pepper if you like. We are not adding black pepper to this. And then, like I said, you can add the jalapenos or whatever other kind of peppers that you like to this. So we're just going to get this blitzed up in this blender real quick, but we're not over blending it. We just wanted to get it like this. And it does look orange. Yes, it does. There's lots of bubbles in it, so it's looking more orange than it is pink or red. It is so tasty. When I make this, I like to make a lot of it, and then we eat it for the next couple of days. We'll put it on eggs or rice, whatever. So our chicken is just about done. We are gonna pull this out of the pot and allow it to cool enough so that I can pull all the meat off of the chicken and get that shredded up. You can see how tender it is. Everything is fallen off the bone. We are then going to strain out the rest of the broth. I strained it into my Instant Pot insert and then back into my large stock pot for the stove. I just wanted to get out all of the celery and all of the onion bits and those sorts of things, because I want this soup to purely be the chicken, the hominy, and the verde sauce. I didn't want any chunks of anything else in there. It is so tasty. So we're adding everything into our pot, and we're going to bring it back up to a lovely simmer and allow all the ingredients to marry together and get nice and flavorful before we serve it up. Once your soup is all mixed together, give it a taste and then season with salt and pepper as you need to. And then once it's ready to serve up, you can garnish this soup with finely shredded iceberg or cabbage, chopped onions, sliced radishes, diced avocado. You can throw some sour cream in there. You can have a side of tortilla chips with it. Definitely put some lime juice in it. That makes it more elevated. It just brings up the flavors a lot more. It is so tasty. So we are going to get this served up for the kids. My family loved this soup. We had this soup, we all filled up on it one night, and then I canned up the rest of it so that we can enjoy it another time. To can up your soup and make it shelf stable, you are going to ladle boiling hot soup into hot, sterile quart or pint jars. You want to make sure that you fill up to 1-inch headspace. So you're going to use your debubbler tool to debubble your jars or the contents of your jar. And then you're going to check to make sure that you have 1-inch headspace. Then what you want to do is wipe the rims of your jars clean with a corner of a towel, a clean towel soaked in some vinegar water, and then place your hot lids on top of the jars, making sure that they are centered. Place your rings on the jars, and then we are going to place these into a pressure canner vessel that already has water heating in it. So once we have the lids on these, they're going to go right into the pressure canner where they are going to process. The first step in that process is to place the lid on the pressure canner without the weight. And you bring the pressure canner up to pressure, making sure to vent it for 10 minutes. That means once the steam is coming out of the vent at a rolling full steam ahead steam, then you set your timer for 10 minutes, you let it vent for 10 minutes, and you place your 10-pound weight onto your pressure canner, and you allow your pressure canner to come up to the appropriate pressure for your altitude. And then you are going to process pints for 1 hour and quarts for an hour and a half. Once that time is up, I turn off my stove and let the pressure canner sit for 10 minutes. After that time, I remove the weight and I allow it to sit for 10 more minutes. Then I open up my canner and just let the lid sit on top of that for 10 more minutes, and then I'm able to remove my jars and place them on a towel for 24 hours where they will just sit there and cool untouched. Then I remove the bands, I clean my jars, I label them with the date and the contents. Make sure, this is so important that you label them with the date and the contents no matter what is in your jar. Then you have a delicious shelf-stable food. Lots of shelf-stable food. Don't be afraid to can. Give it a try.
This is a collaboration with Mennonite Farmhouse, so be sure to subscribe to their channel and all the channels linked down below in the playlist. I appreciate you hanging out with me today to make this delicious soup and hanging out with all the other channels in this wonderful Souptember collaboration. Don't forget to check them all out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!